Hey, what's going on, my friend? Coach Paul here. And listen, we are back, baby. This is Activate Your Next Level Mindset Podcast 2.0. And I got my man right here, Avery Riddoch. This guy is a beast at what he does. He's coming from Greeley, Colorado. And again, all of these podcasts are totally about building up Greeley's community. Okay? It's all about getting Greeley on the map. I've been here for 4+ years, and there's something so special about Greeley. There's so many businesses that are popping up. My business began in Greeley, Colorado. There's ministries out there. There's networking groups, phenomenal networking groups that are sprouting up. Matter of fact, we're working together to get one going too. So listen, I want you to stay tuned, but we're going to tap into this conversation today. And remember, plug into Link Library because that's where we are actually recording this video. If you're a podcaster, come on in. If you have a devotional that you want to create, come on in. If you have headshots that you want to do, come on in. Get with my man, Joshua Valdez. He will lead you in the right direction. So all of those links will be in the description of this YouTube channel. Again, those of you who do not know me, I am Pastor Paul Ybarra, your next level mindset coach. And what I do is I empower kingdom-minded leaders just like yourself to activate your assignment, discover your purpose so we could do life, business, and ministry God's way. And so we're going to dive into conversation with my man right here, Avery Riddoch, and he is from New York Life, correct?
Yes, I am from New York Life.
So tell us a little bit about New York Life and how long have you been doing it? And then we'll go from there.
Yeah, absolutely. So New York Life, you look us up. We are really good at life insurance. That's what you'll see. But we do a lot more than that. We do a lot of scopes of the financial picture. So financial advising.
Got it.
When it comes down to retirement planning, that's what we help out with. That's what I do with my older clients is, helping out with their retirement plans, making sure they can live out their long-lived dreams.
Right.
Along with that, with people my age, I help them set up their high-yield savings accounts, make sure that they're just on the right track in any kind of way for their financial future. So that's exactly what it is that I do. But New York Life is a great company. They've been around for over 175 years, which makes it older than the state of Colorado. Yeah. So very cool. It's very cool to be a part of this really great company. And then selfishly, for me, they're a sponsor of the Major League Baseball, and baseball is near and dear to my heart. So on top of that, it's a little bonus.
I love it. And we're going to circle back because this guy is involved in baseball with kids, right?
Yep.
So you're helping them through that. But first, we are going to really touch into the business side of it. What I'm basically hearing is you work with people's money to make sure their money is going in the right direction, right? Because sometimes as business owners, we get in that space of, like myself, I'm on a mission. Like I'm just going and I'm just rocking and rolling. But I also need those people that are like, all right, dude, like you're making the money, but now let's position it in places because it's not just about spending the money.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely. Yep.
So I've had the pleasure of introducing you to my daughter-in-law, and she talks very highly of you. So again, thank you for that because she's like, dude, Avery is the bomb. And what I like about it is that you are younger. Right?
Yep.
I'm all about those different variables that are in business.
Yep.
Because we get in that space sometimes, bro, where it's like, let's just be honest. We get those older, salty people that are like, hey, just save your money, put it in a basket, dig it in a hole, and let's go home. No.
Basically, yeah.
We're in a whole different age.
Yep.
So what have you found that has worked? Who predominantly, you may have mentioned this, but who predominantly do you work with? What's your passion behind it? And why do you do what you do with New York Life?
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll just actually start with the passion because I always believe that's the best place to start.
Absolutely.
And so for me, my background is coaching. And so going back to the baseball piece, that's where I've started my family. Speaking about even making this about Greeley, my family's from Greeley, Colorado. Grandpa spent 45 years in the Major League Baseball world. And so that coaching aspect from him being there was passed on down to my dad and passed on down to me as well. And so I've always had this passion of coaching and educating people. My mom being on the education side, along with my grandpa being a teacher in Greeley for quite some time. And so I always just wanted to make sure I'm getting the right information out to the people and how I can be a good educator to those who don't know.
Right.
And coming out to talk about finances, a lot of people don't know about it. I mean, a lot of people take finance classes in college and things like that, but they don't know exactly what to do with their money at that point.
Right.
They just see all the numbers and spreadsheets and think they're an Excel wizard and, great. And they're probably very, very smart people. I'm never, going to bag on them for that. But a lot of people just aren't very educated on what to do with their money and when to do it or where to even put it. Back in the day, it was put your money in a 401k because you can save that money and tax it later.
Right.
Great. Well, now, our tax brackets are most likely going to be going up here in the future.
Yeah.
So using that strategy isn't going to be as beneficial because later down the road, you're going to be taxed at a higher tax bracket. It's going to be a lot more. Where now, what we could do is actually just tax diversify our money. And then that's just, putting it there.
Right.
Now you want to talk about investments. How can I make my investments diversified? We're not putting everything. And that's another great example is you want to talk about putting baseball and finances into one deal. The way we like to look at it at New York Life is when we want to diversify someone's portfolio, you have these major, these mid, and these low-level markets and these low-level companies.
Got it.
And so what we want to do is, yes, you want to put your money in the major market companies because that's what you're going to make your money at.
Right.
But it's like a kid, when you first start out playing baseball, he's going to pull the ball most likely.
Right.
And so what coach is going to do is most likely shift his infield or shift the outfield to play to where the ball's going to be hit. Well, we like to look at it as, what if that one time, he puts it over to the other side of the field? Well, that's where we'd like to look at it, where what if that major market company one year just doesn't perform and you lose a lot of money? Well, what's great is then we look at it like that, and so we make sure that we are putting our money wherever that company is at or wherever other companies there are. So those mid-level, those low-level companies. It's a diversified portfolio, so we're not banking everything on the Walmarts, on the Googles, on the Apples, and things like
Correct.
that. We're putting everything into other kind of companies. So that's where we like to look at it, and that's where I can provide the most financial education.
I love the passion behind it, man, because I love the way that you're tying baseball into the finances. Like, we may be geared towards this one area, but what if that ball tips over here to the left? What if it tips past where it's supposed to go?
Yep.
Well, that's where you come in, and you kind of come in with a dustpan and say, okay, let's clean this up. Let's figure this out. You haven't failed, but let's just redirect. Let's refocus. Let's shift that mindset to get you to that place. And so I love that piece of it. So how long have you been doing this?
So I've been doing it just for about a year now. So definitely new into the business. I actually got introduced by one of my friends, Zach Watts. He's a great leader of mine. I look up to him all the time, and I think he's doing great for his age. And he and I are the same age, and where he's at in this business is kind of where I want to get to. And just having that mentor through him and seeing him work every day, it's great. And then on top of that, we have many guys in our industry and in our office, which is nice. We have Roman Hubbard, great guy. He's also a Northern Colorado native. Along with that, went to UNC, and so he actually went to college with my uncle. And so walking into that office that we have up in Northern Colorado, it just made...
You're kind of connected with a few people.
And but it's a small world because I never knew. And so walking in, knowing all these people, and one of the guys talking about, again, business in Greeley, my grandpa owned a baseball facility here, ran it. Sadly, didn't work out, but that's all right. He ended up moving down to Florida and coaching with the Rays during that time. But one of the guys that works at the office actually had his 13th birthday party at my grandpa's facility.
Wow.
So pretty cool, small world. It just felt like family, and that's a big thing to me, is community, family, and that's where I find the place, that's where I thrive. And so New York Life knew what they were getting out of me already. I didn't have to fake to be myself. I could be myself walking in those doors every day, and I think that's another great opportunity that I have working with them. So
one thing that I do know about you is community.
Yep.
You love the whole connection piece, the community piece, and that, for me, is what creates a good business. That's what creates a good network. That's what creates a good, pliable, and solid foundation, no matter what you're doing. We're not on an island alone. We don't do this thing by ourselves. No. Without Avery, I would have never been able to connect you with Connie, right? Without your friend, Zach, right? You would have never been, oh, okay, well, cool. Let me jump on in this thing. So I think that's amazing. Definitely just love the story. And I definitely love to interview Zach. So let him know. Let him know.
Absolutely.
Once this thing drops.
His story is fantastic. So yeah, he'd be another great person to interview as well.
Awesome. Okay, so we've talked about the passion. We've talked about the business. We've talked about community. We've talked about all of the things that drives you, right? But there's one more element that we know that really, truly drives you. And I think that's what really sparked my interest in you, is because even though we're not doing the exact same type of mentorship, right? You are still coaching these kids through baseball, and your heart's behind that. And it's not just about the sport. It's about, matter of fact, I'll just let you explain it. What's the passion behind that? What do you do with these kids? How do you interact with them? Let's dive into that piece of it.
Yeah, so going back to coaching, and funny enough, that kind of goes into my clientele with who I work with as well.
Yeah.
But the kids I coach with, it started back in, oh God, I was 20. I was 19, turning 20, and then 21 at the time. Just kind of getting my feet underneath me, going through college, and I ended up meeting my buddy Jared, and it was, hey, dude, I'm coaching this travel team. Do you want to come along with me? I was like, yeah, absolutely, because at that time I was just doing lessons with my grandpa and
Got it.
just kind of really learning the technicalities of everything. Because as a player and working with my grandpa, I learned the language. You learn, you see everything, how it works, but how can I do it? Where can I come into play? And how
Right.
am I going to be good at this?
Yeah.
And so started off with the NoCo Storm under Brian Saya. He was the head guy running it all, but he let Jared and I do our thing and coach. And, the group of kids that we had were phenomenal. All of them, at least I'd say, I don't know, probably 50 to 60% of that team is out there playing at the next level. And it was really cool just to be a part of all of their journeys and things like that. I mean, I'm just there. They're the ones putting in the work. All I got to do is guide them through it. And so the biggest part behind coaching is giving kids the confidence that they can do things. Baseball itself is a hard sport. You fail 3 times out of 10, you're in the Hall of Fame. You don't get that in football. You don't get that in basketball. And then on top of that, going into the professional side of baseball, you're going to have to go through all the minor leagues. You have to go through rookie ball. You have to go through the Arizona League, all that fun stuff to where it's a grind. And that kind of leans into the business piece of it. And so being able to sit there and work and just put your head down and work and just relate that to these kids and being like, hey, dude, you can do this.
Yeah.
You can. You are a good baseball player.
Yeah.
And a lot of kids, I always talk about positive self-talk, having that mental side of things.
Yeah.
Where they're making sure that it's, I can do this. And another one is, my favorite is I'll ask these kids, do I want to do this? It's like, yes, you want to do it, or I don't need to do it. It's, I'm going to do it. You're going to do this.
Good.
And so that's what, you just talk about that with coaching, but then you talk about going up to these high school kids and to the college level. I still work with some of the kids that are coming back, and it's crazy to see how, yes, you get all to these higher levels, but it all comes down to the little things.
Wow.
And you can always implement that into your business as well. And so, just being able to encourage people to understand that they can do it, and there's never, you're not going to run out of time. You're not going to run out of, time horizons or anything like that. Everything is still very easily doable. You just got to make sure you have the right mindset, and sometimes you need a kick in the butt, or sometimes you just need to have a good conversation.
Sometimes you just need that encouragement and just hearing it from somebody else instead of just like your friend. I've learned that I could tell somebody something 10 times. Somebody new comes in like Avery and says, hey, you can do it. They're like, oh my God, that was so good. And I'm like, really? I've been telling you this for like 10 weeks in a row. And so for these kids to hear it besides their parent.
Yep, that's a big one.
That's a big one. Has there ever been any of those moments for you that you're like, man, today was so different than any other day?
Yeah, and I still get it to this day, but the one that always comes to the top of my mind is this kid that Jared and I coached. His name's Brendan Fry. He came to us, and he was kind of a mental head case, but also like that cockiness he had to him. But he knew he was a good player, and we all knew he was a good player.
Yeah.
But the mental side of things, where it was getting to the point of, like, hey, dude, you need to relax, mature a little bit, because you can go far in this game.
Yeah.
But the only person that's going to stop you from doing anything is you. And so, Jared and I worked with him quite a bit about it, and just getting him to grow up. And it finally just, after yelling at him or, just harping on him for as many times, it only takes it. At the end of the day, it takes him, because we can only reach so far. And so finally it just clicked for Brendan. And he, I'll never forget when we were talking to him about where he was going to play baseball. It was like, dude, you're going to go to a junior college in Neosho County. We believe is going to be the best spot for you. And Jared had a connection through one of his friends who had played at Neosho, so we got him involved in there. And next thing you know, he went and played at Neosho, and now he is playing at a Division I, living out his dream of playing Division I baseball. So
wow,
it's really cool just to see those stories. But again, we were just, it's not us that does anything. It's all on the kids. They can end up doing a lot of things. But yeah, if you can be there for them, just show them that you are here to support them. And you hear a lot of it is, oh, yeah, don't worry, I'll give you this coach's number, or I'll send out that email. A lot of coaches, don't end up doing it, or just don't have that solid, true connection.
Right.
And so just to show the kids that, hey, like, we are here for you, and, putting pen to paper and actually putting your actions where your words are, it's fantastic. And so that's the one story that comes to my mind right now, but definitely there's going to be more down the road.
Yeah, I'm sure there's more, and there's just moments that once we're done with this podcast, be like, oh, I totally forgot about so-and-so, or oh, I forgot about this piece. The reason I'm asking is because there's someone out there, there's people out there, there's somebody that's watching this YouTube video right now that you may be in that place of, I want to help these kids, but I don't really know how. Speak to that person that's on the fence, like, how do I do this? I'm not sure that I have the goods. Just share your heart with the people.
Yeah, I always say when it comes down to that, just go out and do it. Just go ask. Everyone's kind of too humble to either ask for help or, look in the mirror. But at the end of the day, I think that if you're out there in the community, that's the biggest thing. Get your face out there. Your past is your past, whatever it may be. But the only thing you can change is the here and now. And so put a step forward and just change to whatever you want to change to. You see a lot of people kind of complaining or talk about their life and they feel stuck. And they kind of relate that to finance. They don't exactly know where to go. They feel stuck. They feel like they have this stuff. They just don't know what to do with it.
Got it.
So that's when I say, go talk to somebody. Go get in front of somebody. Ask for that help. But the best thing to do is just go out, because you're never going to know. The only one that could change your life is you.
Wow.
And so that's just, just one thing I've always seen. And going from my past, from working my other jobs I've had, I never felt fulfilled. I never felt like I was actually helping. I felt like I was trying to be shady or trying to, with my recruiting, it was, hey, can you go work this 20-hour job? I know what you're doing. You're worth more, but we're only doing it for this much. And it didn't feel right, never sat right with me. So I never enjoyed it. Yeah. When in reality, now what I do, I can actually help and provide that value to people. And so, you always feel like your past can hold you back, but the only thing you can change is now. You can't change your past. It's gone.
It's done.
And so, definitely look at your situation and be like, if I want to change it, just go change it.
I love that, man. Well, listen, any final thoughts? Let us know where we can find you. Is there a website? Is there an email? Like your socials, whatever you want to drop, those links will also be in the show notes of this video. So Avery, let us know how we can connect with you, man.
Yeah, you can reach me at my phone number. It's always in my pocket, in my hand. It's 303-888-9992. And I have a little joke where working with me is as easy as that phone number.
I love it.
So that's the best thing that you can do there. On top of that, you can look me up on NewYorkLife.com, and obviously LinkedIn. That's another great spot to find me. I'm always connecting. I'm always looking for new people. I'm always looking to educate. So.
Well, Avery, thank you so much, my brother, for coming
Paul.
in.
Thank you.
And thank you for being my friend. Thank you for helping my daughter-in-law out. And just thank you for being in my life, man.
Yeah,
this has been just amazing. So listen, we're about to end this podcast. I want to thank everyone who has been tuning in. Remember, Activate Your Next Level Mindset podcast. We are here to equip, empower, and establish you to get to your next level. So we'll catch you on the next episode. God bless.